another question that we often get asked is, what are the warning signs that my child's anxiety is getting worse and getting to a point where we need to access some support or help in dealing with it?
Do you know, there's a really lovely book called, I think it's written by Karen Young, and it's called Hey Warrior. I don't know if you've come across it, Deb, but it's a lovely book to read with kids, and I've certainly used it even with adolescents. So it's all about this little the amygdala, which is the part of our brain which is our alarm system, and it's depicted as this little warrior creature, and how it talks about that it's our superpower, but actually at times it becomes, it takes control of everything and it stops us doing anything. It protects us too well, and it's how we work with that. So I think that's what happens when anxiety is there too much of the time. You know, its sort of duration is extended, or it's happening very frequently too often, or it's the response is too intense, you know, that for the situation, this is a really strong response. So those are the signs to look out for when that alarm system is becoming a little bit faulty.
So it's overworking and kind of kicking in too often.
So it's almost like it's too sensitive. It's sort of the start switch isn't working very, and it's going off too quickly, and the stop switch is faulty. It kind of, we're not ever switching at all. And moving on. So it's looking out for those kind of signs for our kids.
And as you talked earlier on, that's probably difficult for families to gauge, isn't it? Because as you said, every family's different.
That's right.
And
some families
are
going to have a much more sensitive alarm switch.
Absolutely.
Or certain, you know, having certain experiences has made that switch much more sensitive. So it's really important to be thinking about, is this kind of stepping over from that normal responding to something more.
And I guess there's lots of people that you can seek some support from via schools, GPs, you know.
Check it out.
Absolutely.
What are other kids doing?
Absolutely.
You know, how they're responding to the situation. Not in terms of any critical stuff, but just kind of just getting a gauge of, maybe this feels like it's more than it needs to be at the moment. And there, I think we're going to go on to some things that we can do in that situation. But possibly the other thing to notice is the impact that it's having. If it's starting to interfere with our child's functioning in some way, that they're not sleeping properly, that they're not eating, that they're struggling to get to school, or they're wanting to avoid that. That's a big one.
That is something we see quite frequently.
Or they're avoiding social, you know, the socialising is being impacted.
Particularly for teenagers, I guess, isn't it? When we see them withdrawing socially, that's a bit of an indicator.
So those are the things to look out for. Frequency, how duration, that it's not sort of turning off, they just seem anxious all the time. That they're that it's too intense in relation to what you would think the stress is indicating, and that it's starting to interfere with normal functioning.
So the eating and the sleeping.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's really helpful.